Welcome to the 8th session out of 24 complimentary sessions. These are for A2 level German students. In this session, let's look at the agenda. So what you must, we usually cover more than what we list over here, but these are the things that you should take away from these, at least this 8th session. So the first one is you will learn how to draw these tables. Which tables? The tables which tell you what is the ending of an adjective. For bestimmte Artikel, unbestimmte Artikel, possessive article, and Negationsartikel. The reason I have written right and crossed it because I mean it. You don't have to write it, you can draw it. How do you draw it? We'll have a look at it. And then we will go through look at. So I gave you some English sentences which are quite useful, and I had requested you to see if you can write them in German. So today we'll look at the answers, and we will look at how we get to the correct answers. This will not do today. Then the next one is we will practice sentences with Conjunctive 2 of sollen, that is Sollten. So you know Sollten. Then Conjunctive 2 of sollen is Sollten. What is Conjunctive 2? You don't need to know right now, just know that Conjunctive 2 of sollen is Sollten. And of course, I want you to feel happy because today you will learn the fourth case in German language, that is Genitive. So far we have looked at nominative, accusative, dative, and then Genitive is the easiest one. You will know why. And then of course we will learn some new German vocabulary. Disclaimer, and this is the 8th session. After this we will have 16 more sessions. Then so this you saw last time, but this looks, so I think we looked at this table, this table, this table, and this table, right? So table for bestimmte Artikel, unbestimmte Artikel, unbestimmte Artikel, Negationsartikel, possessive article. Table for, how will the adjective ending look like if it is after definite article, indefinite article, Negationsartikel, or possessive kind of an article. I did not give you this table, but you can learn this. And it's also very easy to remember, and this is for adjective endings where there is no article. Okay, let's see. And then now we will look. So it's, if you look at it, there are, by the way, this is not completely correct because there is unbestimmte Artikel does not exist for plural cases, right? So this is actually, it means that no article, right? So if you see this one and this one, they are both the same. Okay, so now if you look at how many different cases you have to remember. So there are 5 tables, and each table has 16 entries. So 16 times 5, 80 different cases. And we will remove the, I have not included the genitive case, right? So like here you see only 12. So 4 times 2 times 3, 4 3s are 12. But I have not included the genitive cases. If I include that also for each of these tables, you will have 16 different entries for each table. 16 times 5 is 80. And if I remove the 4 from here, it will be 76. That means there are 76 cases for adjective endings. Of course, it's difficult to remember all of them without some tricks. And those tricks we will learn now. So what I just did it, out of 5 tables, I created just 4 tables. Why? Because Negationsartikel and possessive article, the table is the same. Okay, let's see how you draw this table. How you draw a table for negations and possessive article. Remember, whenever it is dative, or whenever it is genitive, or whenever it is plural, the ending of the adjective is en. Okay, what I said, plural, dative, genitive, the ending will be en. Feminine, ee, neutrum or neutral, s. So feminine e, neutrum s. Masculine, er, en. I think this is easy to remember, right? There, then. So again, to draw this table for dative, genitive, when I say draw, I don't mean draw it on a piece of paper or on a tablet. I mean draw it, like visualize it, you know. So if you have to draw this table, so you draw 4 columns and then 4 rows, and then the last row will be for genitive, third last 4 will be for dative. So the dative, genitive, en, plural en, feminine eee, neutrum s, masculine, careful, nominative is er, accusative is en. Once you have this table, you can draw the table for bestimmte Artikel because you just copy it from here. Okay, that means whenever the adjective is after a unbestimmter article. Whenever the adjective is after Negationsartikel, whenever the adjective is after a possessive article, you know what the ending will be. Okay, so this way you mastered 16 plus 16 plus 12. This will be 60, it will be 6, 16. You can do the math. 1632 plus 12 will be 444. So you know how, you know the adjective endings for 44 cases. All right, now let's continue. How do you draw the table for bestimmte article? Again, how do you do it is, you, whenever it is dative or whenever it is genitive, it's en. Whenever it is plural, it's en. Feminine, the rule still remains the same. You have e. Only here there are some changes. So neutrum, here it was s, here it was s, here it is e. Okay, here you have to be careful. Then here for accusative it's en, for masculine it is e. Okay, so I hope you can remember that. Now let's talk about own article. One trick that you can do right now is, if you, let's say if you're preparing for an exam, or let's say if you are speaking in German, right? Just don't always use article. If you always use article, you don't have to remember this table, right? You have to remember this table only when you are using adjectives after no articles. But let's say if you are stubborn and you still want to use sentences where you use adjectives without articles. So how will you write this table? What is masculine nominative bestimmte article? Der, right? So you remove d and you get er. What is masculine accusative bestimmte article? Den. So you remove d and you get n. What is masculine dative bestimmte article? Dem. You remove d and you get m. What is masculine genitive bestimmte article? It's not, so it's actually s, but you don't. So this three you can figure out, right? So r, n, m. Okay, then here ss, this one is the same, m. Here ee, r, ee, n. Okay, so how you can remember? And then genitive is over here. So you see it's n and n for masculine neutral, it's er and er for feminine and plural. This table is a little bit difficult to remember, so that's why I'm saying right now you need to know this, but right now just focus on these three tables. Okay, I mean this table, this table, this table. Okay, I hope you know how to draw these tables now. Let's continue. So if you can, please try to tell me how can I write these sentences. So I will now introduce genitive to you, but before I do that, or just a segue into that topic, please tell me how will I write who is it, what is it, how is it, for whom is it, and whose is it in German. So who, you know, it's wer. For what, it's was. For how, it is wie. For whom, you know, you can write it like this, few, wen, right? Because wen is actually where but accusative. Okay, so wen is nothing but where but accusative. Because why? Because after few, what is there? It is always in accusative case. What about whose? How do you write whose? So whose is, if you don't know it, it's wessen. Frankly speaking, I can't remember the last time I asked a question like this, but just for the sake of completion, that's how you say whose in German. It's wessen. Okay, now why did I say this? Let's look at why did I say that. So don't try to read the entire slide, just be with me. So this is actually what you just learned, wessen. This is so who was nominative, what is accusative, how is difficult to say, whose is for whom is again accusative, wessen over here it is genitive. What is genitive? So whenever you have, so why do you need to use genitive, right? That is a good question. So whenever you want to say something like, you know, something's something, the water's temperature, or you want to say someone's something, for example, the car of the man, okay, the man's car. Or if you want to say someone's a someone, like, you know, relationships, for example, the brother of my of my wife, maybe, if you want to say that, right? So whenever you want to say things like that, of course, when it is someone, you can just say in German, so you can just say someone. Instead of apostrophe, you just write s and you just write someone, right? So you can say, let's say Max, let's say not Max but Marek, and if you want to say Marek's father, you will write Marek and then s without the apostrophe. But if you want to write the color of the car, right? So color is Farbe, it's die Farbe, and car is Auto, das Auto. How do you write die Farbe of car, of the auto? The way you write this is you just change this article to this and you add s after it. We'll go through it, just telling you why do you need the genitive case. All right, so far you know that for example, the verb sein, whenever you are using this, the object or everything is nominative when you are using sein, right? But then there are verbs, for example, lesen, schreiben. Here the first object is normally in it accusative case. And then there are verbs like helfen, right? Here the first object itself is in dative case, right? What I'm trying to say is that there are verbs which require the first object to be in accusative case. Then there are verbs which require the first object to be in dative case. Now the question that you should be asking is, are there verbs? So are there verbs which require the object to be in genitive case? The answer is yes. Now the question is, do I have to learn these verbs right now? Not really. I mean, frankly, at least in spoken German, I mean, if you're not going to speak like if you're going to speak like a normal person in normal daily life, you don't need genitive verbs, okay? If you do them, I mean, you will never hear them. Maybe in books or television or news, you can hear them, but normally we don't hear them. Then that's why you can be it's okay if you don't know these verbs. Then what exactly are you supposed to know about genitive case right now? Two things. So it has an effect on the articles. For example, there becomes they in accusative, right? The still remains the in accusative. There becomes them in dative. The becomes there in dative, right? So similarly, genitive also has an effect. Other one is the adjective ending, right? Which we just saw on the last slide or the second last slide. Then I think it's a repetition. So yeah, it's a repetition of the first one, so ignore it. Now, of course, then you know there are verbs, there are prepositions, right? For example, few, whenever you have few, what comes after few is in accusative case, right? Then there are verbs, what comes after, for example, you have mit. Let me write it differently so that you don't have to tilt your head. So when you are writing mit as a preposition, what comes after it is in dative case. When you have ona, what comes after ona is usually in accusative case, right? So prepositions also determine in which case the object will be, right? So you also have prepositions. So yeah, I think it should be, now I know why this is mistakes. So are there prepositions which require the object to be in genitive case? So the answer is yes. And which are those? So you have wegen, aufgrund, trotz, statt, während, innerhalb, außerhalb. Wegen and aufgrund you can think of as because of or due to the reason or due to the fact. Trotz is this in spite of or even though. Statt is instead. Während is during, during something. Innerhalb is within, without, right? Within, without. Then you have, so when should you use genitive? I think we looked at it. So I think we looked at it. Now let's look at the rules. Again, as I said, it's very easy to use. So let's look at the articles, how the articles change. So there becomes this. So again, here you have, so there becomes this. Then das becomes this. Feminine, die becomes there. Plural, there. So if you look carefully, this, there, right? What about unbestimmter Artikel? Eines, einer, Here it does not exist because you don't have unbestimmte article in plural. What about negation? Keines, keines, keiner, keiner. But frankly speaking, normally we just say keiner. We don't emphasize the R part, but there is a difference. So I think you must have noticed the pattern. So for masculine neutrum, you add S or ES. For feminine plural, you add R or ER. Similarly, you can check it for possessive article, S or ES, and here you have minor, ER, right? Also, what you need to remember is when you are using genitive and the object is in genitive and the object has an article and a noun, right? Then you have to, and the article is bestimmt masculine or neutrum. Sorry, let's say if you are saying again, so the color, the Farbe, das Auto, the color of the car. So here it will be in genitive case, so thus will become this, so it will be this. Also you add S over here, that's how it is. You can say the color of the man, so the Farbe des Mannes. Okay, so you add S or ES depending upon which one sounds better. Okay, so if it was, let's say, the color of the wood, so wood is holes, so I think it's thus holes, and in genitive thus will become this and holes. So if you add S, it sounds just like you'll say holes, right? But if you say holes es, it sounds better. So I hope you get the idea. But you add S or ES after noun only for masculine or neutrum cases. For feminine plural, just leave it as it is. Okay, here is the tip about the articles, right? So for masculine neutrum, you add S or ES to the normal sounding article, and you add R or ER for feminine plural cases to the normal sounding article. Examples: die Farbe des Autos, check S. Das Buch des Lehrers. Das Auto meines Freundes, you add ES. Freunds, it just doesn't sound, at least to the correct to a German speaking person. Then if it is like someone something, right? So the Sonia's Rechner. So if you check, normally in English we'll add an apostrophe, but in German we don't add apostrophe, so it's Sonia's Rechner. You can also say Rechner von Sonia, but both are correct. Now don't think that von means from over here, because I think in the last sessions we checked, you can say, like, if you want to say from 5 p.m, so you say von 5 Uhr abends, but here it means something else. It means spelling is incorrect, so it's a Rechner, R-E-C-H-N-E-R. Here it means von means off. Okay, don't get confused. That's why go with this one, Sonia's Rechner. I hope you understood genitive. If not, please ask. Let's practice Sollten. So about we'll not practice genitive today. I will give you this will be a homework for you, and if you do the homework, we will discuss the answers in the next session about genitive exercises. Let's practice Sollten. Before we go, what is Sollten? Sollten is nothing but Konjunktiv 2 of sollen. What is the difference between sollen and Sollten? The difference is very subtle. So in English we say should, right? But sometimes we say should when you are giving an advice, or sometimes you just say should just like that, right? So I hope you know. But whenever you are saying should as an advice, you should eat vegetables, you should exercise, you should learn German daily, there you should not use sollen, you should use Sollten. So whenever you are giving an advice, you should use Sollten. You should study for the exam. How will you write this in German? Before you do that, please figure out, so there is should, there is study, then you have the exam, you have you, and you have for. Here you can think of for as für. The exam is Prüfung, it's die Prüfung. Study, so don't say studieren, because there is a difference between studieren and lernen. The difference is, if you don't know, when you use this verb only when you are talking about majoring in something. For example, you are studying data engineering, you are studying data science, you are studying computer engineering, you are studying mechanical engineering. But when you study some subject, like within that major or masters, you use lernen. Okay, so lernen means is the act of like studying something, studying a book or a chapter or for an exam. Studieren is so here it is lernen. Studieren is like ich studiere Mathe. You know, you are studying math, because if you say ich lerne Mathe, I learn mathematics, I will think that you are saying maths is just a subject of your studies. But if you say ich studiere Mathe, it means you are majoring in mathematics. So I hope you get the difference. Again, because there's A2, if you use them interchangeably, if you use studiere and learn interchangeably, it's still fine. But I want, as I said, I want you to be A2 experts. So, all right, then let's see how you can write this. As I said, so when you use Sollten, you only conjugate this one. The other verb lernen, you don't conjugate. It's in infinitive form at the last position. At the second position, you will have the Sollten conjugated for do is solltest, right? So it is ich sollte, du solltest. So it is ich sollte, du solltest, sie solltet, ihr solltet. For every other case, it is sollten. So du solltest few, die Prüfung lernen. Die Prüfung is in accusative case. And because the still remains the in accusative case. Next is we should go to the doctor. So again, should. To go, here you will have to use the verb gehen, and the preposition will be zu plus dative. Okay, so the doctor will be in dative case. So wir sollten zum Arzt gehen. Here it is in dative case. Gehen is in infinitive form at the last position. You only conjugate sollten for wir, it still remains sollten at the second position. Then you have how should I train. So again, should, how should I train. The German, there can be many different ways to say to train in German. Here I mean like training your muscles. That's what I mean. So colloquial way to say is that pumpen. You'll see this in like gyms, but we don't use that outside the gym. So it is trainieren. Okay, the verb is trainieren. So how do you do it? Again, this one will be at the last position, infinitive form. Second position, sollten, conjugated for the subject ich. Wie sollte ich trainieren? Wie is how, question mark. Sorry, the W word. She should eat more vegetables. So again, should. So sollten for she will be sollte. Eat will be essen, right? So it will be in infinitive form at the last position. Here I'm not using any article for vegetable, so you can just say Gemüse. More, you can say, so you say it like mehr. Okay, mehr. So sie sollte Gemüse essen because more, so sie sollte mehr Gemüse essen. You should take a break, which we all should do from time to time. So here I mean I'm talking to more than one person. Okay, let's say if I have a company and I see two of my employees still in the office at 7 p.m. I will go and say you should take a break. You know, it's not good. So ihr solltet. A break is Pause, an indefinite article. So it is die, that is eine. You can say nehmen, or you can also say machen. I know you might thinking, how can I say take as machen? You are right, but it's a different language, right? You don't always translate it to English. In German, it just sounds it sounds fine if you say you are making a break. Okay, so it's still fine. So you can say nehmen or you can say machen, but just make sure that it is infinitive form. You only conjugate the sollten one. I think it's the last example. You should practice German daily. So how do you say practice? It is incorrect. So it should be üben. Okay, this is the verb. Practice as a, so PRACTIC. How do you say this? It is the Übung. Just so that every verb, almost every verb can be converted to a noun is what I'm trying to say. So do, again I'm saying talking to more than one person, I'm being informal, so ihr solltet Deutsch lernen. Daily is täglich or jeden Tag. Okay, let's practice adjective endings. For this I have purposefully taken examples from my daily life. Why do I do that? Is that so that, for example, here the sentence is the new data pipeline is efficient. If you are a data engineer or a data someone working in data field, you will be hearing this sentence more often. So whenever you learn something in German language, try to frame sentences relevant to your daily life. Don't try to frame sentences which you will never use. For example, the man is wearing a shirt. When are you ever going to say this? Okay, so try to write examples which you can use in daily life. So I can use this in daily life. The new data pipeline is efficient. Again, you don't need to know how do you say data pipeline in German, but you should know how to say efficient, right? You should know how to say new. Also here you are using an adjective. It will be in nominative case. It is after a bestimmte article, and data pipeline is Daten pipeline. Daten pipeline is neutrum. So after bestimmte neutrum article in nominative case, it will be neu, neuer. So you add e. Okay. I don't know why. So it should be, again, there is a box over here. The reason is that you can add anything over here from your post professional, right? But here it is Daten pipeline. Okay, efficient is efficient. The entire part is in nominative case. The new data analysis tool gives you better results. Again, you can use something else and say the new blah blah gives you better results. Let's see how you can write this. So how do you say gives? You can say gibt, geben. For third party is gibt. You, it will be in dative case. Better results is in accusative case. Results is Ergebnisse, bessere Ergebnisse. You is ihnen, I'm being formal. And then data analysis tool is data analyzer tool or data analyzer tool. Thus, because neutrum, neu, and e because of this case. So the adjective is neu. It is being used after a bestimmte article, which is neutrum, in nominative case. Okay. Right, let's look at the next example. The new data model improves the predictions. Again, you can use something else over here. How do you say predictions? Vorhersagen. How do you say improves? Verbessern. Okay, so das neue Datenmodell verbessert die Vorhersagen. Again, it still remains e because nominative, neutrum, bestimmte article. This one has been conjugated, verbessert. And just check. So Vorhersagen plural, and I'm using English word in German word in English. It is it's not nitro, it's plural. So plural bestimmte article die remains die in accusative case. The outdated data storage system is unreliable. You can use this for a friend. He or she is unreliable, or for your colleagues, they are unreliable. How do you say unreliable? How do you say outdated? Let's see. So outdated is veraltet. You add es because it is after in nominative case neutrum possessive article. Why neutrum? Because Datenspeichersystem is neutrum. Possessive article because ihr ist unzuverlässig, unreliable. The innovative data integration platform is versatile. How do you say versatile? Vielseitig. There can be other ways to say it. I use vielseitig. What is innovative? You can say innovative or maybe something else. Let's see. So it's the same. The pronunciation is different. So here you say innovative. Here you say innovative. Innovative here. All right. The sophisticated data analytics software offers valuable insights. How do you say offers? How do you say valuable? How do you say insights? How do you say sophisticated? So sophisticated, there can be different ways. I use anspruchsvoll. You add e at the end because nominative case, feminine because here Software is the software. Bestimmte Artikel because there, the in its article. Bietet, wertvoller, valuable, Ergebnis. Again, I'm not completely sure if insights is the correct, Ergebnis is the correct word for insights, but again, we can use Ergebnisse for insights. An efficient data preparation tool can save time and resources. So this may sound very complicated, but it's not that. So you are using modal verb können, and you will know how to say save its speichern, right? Time is Zeit, Ressourcen. You just have to know. So you just have to know this word, right? Efficient, you already know, is effizient. So ein effizient s, because it is, remember how you draw that table, so the table, adjective ending table for unbestimmte Artikel, you can just copy it from possessive and Negationsartikel, and for Neutrum it was ss. So s by Neutrum, tool is Neutrum, and in nominative case, even if it was accusative case, it would have been s. I think this is Sparenes. So here you conjugate this part, but this other verb you leave it as it is, infinitive form. There are 3 more examples, I believe, 8, 9, 10. Let's look at the 8th one. The secure data transmission protocol. Again, you don't have to know this one. It's important for me. You don't have to know the German word for this. But you should know how to say ensure. You should know how to say integrity. Okay. You should know how to say secure as an adjective. So let's look. How can I say this? So secure, you can say sicher. Right? Now think here, why is the ending e? Think. So here you need the ending for adjective ending for bestimmte Artikel. If you remember, it was n for dative case, for genitive case, for plural case, right? For masculine it was er, for nominative, and n for accusative. What about feminine? It was e and e. What about neutrum? It was e and e, I believe. So e. And how do you say ensure? You say gewährleisten. Integrity, integritate. 9th example, a data storage system is essential for growth. A scalable data. How do you say scalable? How do you say growth as a noun? How do you say essential? Okay, how do you say system? It's actually the same word, but pronunciation is System. System. Okay, how do you say this? Let's look. So ist, few, what comes after few will be in accusative case. Unerlässlich, there can be other words for essential. You can also say essential, but I'm using unerlässlich. And here, skalierbare. The new real data processing system is not working. How do you say something is not working? Funktionieren nicht. Okay, so you say whatever you want to say. Funktioniert if it is working, funktioniert nicht if it is not working. Then why do I have this blank? Not blank, but seemingly blank. So what is jemand, jemanden, jemandem? So it means someone in nominative, accusative, dative case. Nominative, accusative, dative case. Niemand, niemanden, niemanden. Again, nominative, accusative, dative case. No one, no one, no one. What is this? Irgendein, irgendeinen, irgendeinem. Again, anyone, 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 but nominative, accusative, dative case. Whenever you want to say, you want to use these pronouns. Okay. So someone, no one, anyone. Nominative, accusative, dative. Homework, please go through it. See what the homework is about. Let me bother you with some new vocabulary. So verboten is not allowed. Gestartet is allowed. Täglich, daily, weekly, monthly, half yearly, yearly, quarterly, awake, outside, inside, won, lost, broken. Mit dem Zug, zu Fuß, when you can say this, someone is asking, how should we go, or how are you coming? So if you want to say with the train, you will say mit dem Zug. If you want to say we will walk, or I will walk to your place, zu Fuß. Im Anhang, where you will see this quite often when you write emails in German, if you attach something in the email, so you say hello, so you have greetings, then you have comma, and then you can start im Anhang. Okay, im Anhang, in attachment, you will find blah blah blah. Why is I small? Please go back to previous sessions, but it's because it's considered one sentence. So you have your greetings, comma, and then this is not a new sentence, it's the same sentence. That's why I has to be small. All right, let's look at what is Pass. What is this, guys? So this is nothing but you all are doing it. So you have a notebook, German vocabulary notebook. It's complete. It's mostly blank pages. So every day you divide a page into 4 columns. In the first column, you add new nouns or nouns that are relevant for your life, new verbs, new adjectives, adverbs, new phrases that you can use in your daily life, professional or social. So what is Pass? It's passport. It's also Reisepass, but more often in Germany we just say Pass. Verbot is prohibition. This one is offer, tires, sitting places, working place. Gang can mean 2 things. It can mean floor or passage. Other meaning of it is courses. So what do I mean course? It means how many courses does this restaurant offer. So like 5-course meals, 7-course meal, or maybe India 52-course meal. So it can mean 2 things. One is floor, passage, or the other one is courses of a meal. Eingang, entry, Einstieg again, entry, Ausstieg and Ausgang, they both mean exit. Wäsche, it means laundry. Nachbar, neighbor, again this is also neighbor but female neighbor. Reifen is tires. Jemandem, it was accusative verbieten, to how do I say this, to prohibit someone from doing something. Meinen, it is a verb, but it means literally to mean, like ich meine, I mean, but you can also use it like quite often people say this, right, in close circles. So was meinst du? Here it means what do you think. It can be like you are proposing a plan for weekend and you are asking the other guy, or you're proposing a plan for the project and you are asking your colleague what does he think or she think. Okay, so the way you have verloren as adjective, gewonnen is adjective, so you also have verbs verlieren, gewinnen. Okay, to win, to lose, should be here. Versteckt is here. It means hidden. The verb is verstecken. If you are in Germany, if you're watching movies in German, you will see kids saying, "Sollen wir Verstecken spielen?" That means, should we play hide and seek? So, and then you have, so nutzen, benutzen, verwenden, anwenden, they both mean literally the same thing, to use, but in German the context is different. You cannot use them always interchangeably. Okay, I believe also kapoot is also an English word. I have heard this in some Hollywood movies. So, but in German it means broken, but sometimes people use it in a humorous way. For example, someone is tired, right? They will say ich bin kaputt. It does not mean he or she is broken. They are just saying they are done for the day. They are tired. So you can use it to describe a person. You think you have a friend. Sometimes people say, his head is broken. Sein Gehirn ist kaputt. You can use it in a funny way to describe your friend's brain. Thank you very much for listening. If you do this, I am ready to help you. If you do this, you will learn German much more quickly than any other guy who is also trying to learn German. If you follow this advice, to do this, you just need 3 things to be honest. You need Deep Translate, you need leo.org, and you need a notebook where you write everything every day. Thank you very much for listening.